Hey YouTube, you know, sometimes you feel like you just can't get a break. The truck here, I put a transmission in last week, which a bunch of you were watching the videos, and you know that worked out good. And I put the plow on the truck. I have it facing the sun, sort of, because that stuff on there was as hard as a rock. So it's thawing that out a little bit. Truck runs great. I adjusted the timing and stuff on it. Got all kinds of power and everything. No problem here. But on my way to getting the parts, yesterday I wanted to replace a plastic line that goes on the oil pressure gauge, because I had put my own gauge in that truck at one time. So I put there had a plastic line on it. Well, the plastic line was brittle and I wanted to put something else on, so I went and put on a copper line. So that worked good. But while I was out yesterday, and I keep this thing for my wife. It's four-wheel drive. Been very reliable for us, except for minor things, you know, like it's had a couple fender benders. It's tried to bring a couple trees home for me to cut up and stuff. But besides that, I got to put front brakes on this thing now. Now, I'm not going to bore you with putting front brakes on a car. Everybody should almost know how to do that. It's not hard. But the issue here is that coming up to our place from the nearest town is about a 5% grade. And if you're not knowing what I mean by that, 5% means that it rises 5 feet for every 100 feet that you go. So from town to here, in that 5 miles, you're talking about 1,400 feet higher than where town is. So I think that my wife has a tendency to drive down the hill and she puts her foot on the brake and keeps it there. Because I change front brake lining on this car 3 times a year, and I don't think it's something that Chevy did. So anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this video, but for right now, that's my day. Just getting started out. We're getting a little bit of a thaw, but we still got a lot of snow to get rid of. Okay, it's about an hour later, and I changed the brake pads. If you look across here, if I can hold that, you can see where the indicator that tells you you're wearing down is just about flush with that. And apparently that's what I heard yesterday, so can't really blame her. I guess there was some dirt underneath this thing that was making it hang up a little bit, because it's actually worn more than the other ones, but I changed them all. I was just going to toss these, and then I remembered that my little garden tractor doesn't have any brakes, and you can't buy the brake pads anymore from Sears. They're like big as my fingers there. So I think I'm going to take this and cut it down and then machine the back of it, and I believe I can make a brake pad for that garden tractor, because Sears doesn't have them anymore. So that's that. Hey YouTube. Most of you guys who watch my channel know that I have a 550 Ford that I use for moving logs. But I just wanted to show you this. This is a set of forks that I made. Now the forks can go anywhere on the bucket you want to put them. And the reason I didn't make them 4 foot long initially is because when you're picking up some really heavy logs or multiple logs, the longer these things are, the more chances are you're going to bend them. Now I've bent these already a number of times and just brought them back to my press and straightened them out. But here's how I made these, in case you're wondering. All this is about a 3-foot piece of 2 by 2 tubing. Okay? So the bottom piece is a piece of tubing. I took the top piece, I measured the thickness of the bucket, I welded 2 tabs. This is 2 tabs thick, and actually if you look at this, I used an old lawnmower blade to weld this on. Welded this on the thickness of the bucket away from the other one. Drilled a hole and welded a nut on the inside there. Okay? And all I do is snug them up. Now, they're not the best forks in the world, because they do have a tendency to slide to the side. The kind that hang over the bucket are much better. But these are good because they're not so long. You can get around the woods a little bit with them. You're not killing yourself trying to maneuver the machine, because this machine's already 20 some feet long all by itself when you're in the woods. So I'm just going to put them on here. Recently I put this on to hold my snow plow, and I think that putting these against that might help to keep them straight. But what I'm going to do right now is go move some logs. These are not hard to make. 2-inch tubing, you don't even have to use that. You could use round pipe if you wanted to, as long as you weld it right. So, and like I say, I've welded 2 different types of metal on here already. I fixed them about, I don't know, 5 times since last spring when I made them. But they still keep working, and the other nice thing about it is I can handle these with one hand. I can pull it off and put it on with one hand, rather than having to use 2 hands for everything. Because sometimes you need an extra hand for something else. So I'm going to show you how I move logs then, and right now I need to do a little bit of cleaning up here so that I can have snow, so I can get some logs in. So guys, the good things about the forks is that they're short, they're tough, they're lightweight, and they're easy to put on. The bad things are that there's some water burning off the manifold. The bad thing about those forks is that when you lay the bucket flat, you can't see them. That's where having a grapple bucket is much better than using this. But I use the loader bucket for so many other things that it would not pay me to take the loader bucket off. Now I usually spread those forks all the way at the end of the bucket, because the wider the forks are, the easier it is to stabilize a log when you pick it up. If you're not right in the dead center of it, it won't tip over when you have the forks spread out. But they're narrow like this because, like I said before, I just want to see if they're going to stay straighter when I put them against that angle iron that's there. So I can probably pick up 2 or 3 logs at a time here with these. I just got to make sure I get straightened out. Okay, so you can see I got 3 logs there. Now believe me, it's a lot easier to do this if you have a helper to guide the forks, because sometimes what happens is there's a rock there or something and it'll push the fork to the side no matter how tight you tighten the bolt. I should probably have 2 bolts in there, but again, I wanted it to work as fast as it could work. But you can see it was pretty easy there to pick up 3 logs. Those logs are probably 8'3" or so. I think that's a 7-foot bucket. Or bullseye, oh, there it is. And they're probably red oak, like every other thing I can find. Come on, boy! Also, guys, one of the commenters asked about how to say the name of my channel. My channel, the guy who made the worst enunciation of my channel was Scotty Kilmer. I asked him a question, that's the car guy, and he said he pronounced it as if it was a Spanish word with a H for a J, so we call it Halsalho or something. But the way it's pronounced is Joe Sal Joe. And what it is my wife, my dad, and myself started a business back in the 90s. We had other businesses, but we needed a different business name to do some remodeling work that we wanted to handle. And because my wife was part owner in it, she came up with the name. My dad's name was the same as mine, so Joe in the front, Joe in the back, and Sally in the middle. So Joe Sal Joe. That was the name of the company, and we've kept it for quite a few years. And I don't plan on getting rid of it. So anyway, that's how it comes. And as far as won, W-O-N, it's like winning at something. Joe Sal Joe won. That, to us, that means that every endeavor we've tried in business, no matter what it was, somehow we came out on top. And I think it's our diligence and work ethic that's helped us to do that. Okay, that's enough about us personally. And the one thing I should say, guys, is just like anybody else, I like my privacy. And like a lot of people do put their regular name on the website, but we never know that. I don't know, you know, who all has what on there and what their name is. So I like my privacy as well, to a degree. I mean, I love the comments and everything. You know, you gotta watch when you're rolling this off. You gotta drop the lugs up, because if you put the bucket down too low, you'll be bending the forks. So that's not hard. Now what I do is I like to take the forks off then and put the grapple chain on there with my grapple hook, and I'll pick them up and set them on my log or on my bunk. I plan on doing something different in the future because I want to put a crane over by where my sawmill is. A small crane that can pick logs off of trucks and set them right onto the sawmill. But I haven't gotten that far. And if this winter lasts any longer with all the work I have to do, I won't get it done this year. I want to get it done in spring, but I have to see what happens. Alright guys, I'm going for another load. I don't think you're going to watch that. Later. The other thing I wanted to say is this backhoe has a whole lot of force. It's got a lot of braking force on the hydraulics. It's very high. So anything thinner than this 2x2 on this bucket, like if I stick them in something, I can bend them like into a pretzel with this bucket. Now if you've got a smaller, like one of them John Deere, you know, mid-sized tractors and all, these might work very well for you. You might not be able to bend them that easy. But for me, if I get them stuck under something, and that's why I like having a helper, I will bend them. So, now when I picked these up, I only got 2 logs. And the reason for it is you can see that one sitting there that's facing us. It's pretty big. It looks like it's about 24 inches on that one end. So that's why I couldn't get it onto the forks, because I only got 2 feet sticking out there. If one rides on top of the other, then I can get 3 good logs. But I didn't want to push it because I didn't know what I was against with the forks. I only got 5 there so far. There's about, I think, 4 or 5 more up there yet. A couple people asked me about Bullseye. Bullseye has a little bit of a limp. His left paw is giving him some grief. I had him to the vet my wife had him to the vet the other day, and she said he has arthritis, but I don't know, I think he may have a touch of Lyme disease as well, because, you know, as a hunting dog, I'm always picking ticks off him, especially in the fall of the year. Just thought you might want to know that. I'm trying to cover my bases here with all the questions I get. Looks like there's only 2 more logs there. And you can see how big this one is. I could only get this one on the forks. So that's at least 22 inches at that end on this side. I'm going to set this log on the stand that I have there gently, I hope, hopefully, because I'll put this one on the saw to cut it next. Well, that's not good. Knocked my cant hook off. It rolled right across the bunk. This is where, you know, not getting out of the backhoe and doing your thing should have been done. I should have put the dogs up and it would have stopped it. Now I'll have to pick it up and bring it over with the backhoe. I'm going to finish getting more logs down here first. Crap, now I got to fix my cant hook holder. Well guys, if there was ever a time to edit something out of a video, I would have said that it was now. But I'm not going to, because people make mistakes, and as far as I remember, I'm still a people. I don't know what there was a white piece, or no, there's a coupling missing. Okay, there it is, it's in pieces. Well, that's good. I thought I broke the pipe out of the ground. I guess it was frozen too hard. I got plenty of couplings. Whew, that thing is a monster. Let me see what size this is. Oh, gosh darn it, I was off by an inch. 23 inches bark to bark. That's a nice sized log. Oh yeah. Whew. You know, I made a comment on a video the other day that the next log I cut, I'm going to have my wife cut, because there's some guy whose wife thinks he's old because he's in his 60s, and I want to show her that my wife is 70, and I know she can cut this. So as soon as I get this on here and we get a nicer day with no ice here, because I don't want her to fall, or snow, I want to shovel this off today. I'll get her to cut this up. I gotta get a coupling for this. And hook a chain on this and throw it on the bunk. Well, we're gonna see if we can get this on here. Come on. I'm gonna get it past this dog if I can. That should stay there. I can swing it over. Now this machine's idling, just to give you an idea of how much power that a bigger machine has. Okay. Okay. That's good. I see something over there. Okay, so you saw my mistake. I tried to let the forks put that log onto my carrier. Probably, oh boy, you can see where that log was so heavy it just bent the stop over. I'm going to have to put a bigger stop. And this is turned around. Usually I keep these stops in the back. That's about 1/8 inch metal. Just turned it right over, ripped that one off. So, about even bent my wheel. Gotta well be careful with these heavier logs. Well, I made this so I can remake it again. Yeah, like I say, it's easy to edit this stuff out, but maybe we'll see some of the things that don't go right. I'm gonna see a rabbit somewhere over there. Whew. I'll put these dogs up so it doesn't decide to roll on me. then we should be good. I'm not going to be cutting this today. I want to have my wife cut this. Okay. That's it. This daylight savings time has me all screwed up. I keep thinking it's lunchtime. I just ate supper.